Top TV, Truth of the People.
A very good evening to you on this very day of 4th of June 2021. You're just in time for news at glance live here on Top TV. My name is Abel Omasete, and we dive in right away in the judiciary, where we saw President Uhuru Kenyatta yesterday appointed the 34 judges out of the 40 who were nominated, or rather whose names were forwarded to him by the Judicial Service Commission. Now, 6 judges were left out of that appointment. Those judges include Justice George Odunga, who was served in the High Court from 2011, Joel Ngugi, who was also served from 2011, Justice Weldon Korir, who was served from 2003, and also Agri Muchelule, who was served from 1983 but was promoted to the High Court in 2009, and also Evans Makori Kiago and Judith Elizabeth Omongo. Now, the refusal of the president to appoint those 6 judges has elicited mixed reactions as to why those 6 judges were not appointed. Now, through the Attorney General, that is Paul Kihara Kariuki, he stated that some judges, that is those 6 judges, had some integrity issues, and that is the reason as to why they were not appointed. Also, the statement made by Justice, or rather the Attorney General Paul Kihara Kariuki, has also elicited mixed reactions as to what are these integrity issues that the National Intelligence Service (NIS) has raised against these judges, and if they are that serious to an extent that they were not appointed, why are they still serving in the High Court? Now, among those 34 judges who were appointed yesterday by the head of state, 6 of them will go direct to the Court of Appeal, where the Court of Appeal President, that is Daniel Musinga, is expected to constitute a bench that will listen to the appeal case filed by the BBI parties. That is after a 5-judge bench in the High Court termed the Amendment Bill 2020 as illegal, null and void. So those 6 judges include Francis Tuyot, Lady Justice Omondi Helen Amolo, Lady Justice Nyamoya Amfrail Mbogoli, Kibaya Imani Laibuta, Lady Justice Lesit Wanjiku Jesse, and lastly Lady Justice Grace Mumbi Ngugi. Now, key to note is Justice George Odunga and Joel Ngugi, who were not appointed by the president, presided over the Amendment Bill 2020 in the High Court that of course was ruled as illegal. Now, Justice George Odunga in particular has presided in the past years over cases that could be termed, or rather quoted, as controversial. Those cases include, you remember the case involving the self-proclaimed general, that is Miguna, who was deported out of the country right after the repeat of the 2017 elections. The Interior Cabinet Secretary, that is Fred Matiang'i, pointing out that Miguna was not a Kenyan citizen and he was a citizen, a Canadian citizen rather. And also Justice George Odunga presided over the case of the printing of the presidential ballot papers, that is in 2017. He stated clearly that the procedure, or rather the manner that was used to award that tender to an international firm, was not the correct procedure. And so once again, he ruled against the government. And also another case is the Security Amendment Bill, which was proposed by the National Assembly Majority Leader then, that is Garissa MP Aden Duale, and also his counterpart then, who was the Majority Leader, that is Elgeyo Marakwet, beg your pardon, Senator that is Kipchumba Murkomen. He also ruled that proposal to be illegal. And finally, the just recently BBI bill that was ruled illegal, null and void. So those are just the 4 major cases that Justice George Odunga has presided over, that according to me, they seemed very controversial, and they attracted the attention of the executive and the government at large. Now, yesterday night, former Judicial Service Commission Vice Chair, that is Mercy Deche, clearly pointed out that some individuals, or rather some names, were not vetted during the JSC vetting process, and their names were found in the 34-judge list that the president gazetted yesterday, bringing us to a bigger question like what procedure was used to arrive to those judges, and if they were not voted, how did their name end up in that list of the judges who were appointed and gazetted by the president. And finally, to matters in regards to the Amendment Bill 2020, popularly known as the BBI Bill, on Wednesday, that is in the course of this week, Daniel Musinga staged a case management conference where he stated clearly that the hearings of the BBI will be done between the 29th of June this month and next month up to around 2nd of July, bringing us to the question, will this bill beat the time frame? And constitutionally, we see that a referendum is supposed to be conducted a year before a general election. So will the BBI team beat that deadline? Is a wait and see situation. And also, just to mention that the election date cannot be adjusted to some other date, because in the constitution it has been clearly stated that a general election here in Kenya should be conducted on the second week of August. So these are scenarios which are consistently playing out, and will be keeping tabs as to how the time frame will be achieved or not achieved as days go by. On behalf of my cameraman James Sikulu, this has been News at Glance. This is Top TV, and my name is Abel Omasete.